Greetings, Minecrafters. Welcome to another Minecraft discussion. I'm back at the Notch. This is Kimberly Quinn, forgot to say that. Just very excited to have another chat with all of you. And the reason I'm a little distracted is our daughter was up here with little G just last week, and they ran to 3 bear cubs. And so Giovanni wanted, of course, to play with them. And so I'm keeping a partial eye out because no question when you see cubs, there's a mama really very close, even though they did not see her. So anyway, that's a perfect segue to our discussion, which is connection. Little G wanted to be connected with those bear cub friends. So connection is why we're here. That is the whole purpose of my discussion on this day with you, is that we are here for connection. That is the whole point. In a deeper level, to learn how to love ourselves and each other. But today we're just going to talk about the actual connection. And it's amazing how we can forget that, and myself included. We get all wrapped up in all this stuff that just doesn't matter. And here's the other thing: we say, "Oh, I'm more of an alone person. I'm a total people person." Well, wherever you land on the spectrum of that, because most of life isn't polarized, right? We've talked about it. We've got the introverts maybe over here who recharge their batteries by being by themselves, reading, walking in the woods. Actually, I'm super extroverted, but I also love walking in the woods because we can't put people in boxes like that. They recharge with smaller amounts of people or just solo time, right? And the extroverts, those of us who are extroverted, tend to rejuvenate, just feel so charged. But let's say for me, teaching and doing a big presentation, all kinds of people coming up, talking to you, sharing their stories, wow! It's like I just get so charged I could run laps around Vermont. So now wherever you are in there though, from introvert to extrovert and anywhere in the middle, no matter what, we all need to be connected. We all need each other, even if it's different amounts. And the deal is with connection, whenever connection is sort of missing, there's suffering. And I think we know, again, wherever your level of connection is, there's suffering. And currently in the U.S., loneliness is actually an epidemic, and it's been put right up there with leading cause of illness and death, with heart disease actually. And connection is obviously, just what the doctor ordered for that. In fact, English, not just the U.S., England, I'm not going to get the years exactly right. I think it roughly 5-ish years ago, the then Prime Minister of England actually created a position for Ministry of Loneliness because they had such a huge problem over there. I created a government position to help deal with their loneliness issues. So we need connection or we suffer. That's just how it goes. And I guess ironically, that word sort of fits here. One thing that keeps us from connection is shame. There's lots of things that keep us from connection. It can be, time and this and that. But underneath it all, it's really the valuing of ourselves, just like we were talking about with practicing self-care and all that. So shame is that feeling of being flawed or defective in some way. Not enough. And that can keep us from connection. The irony here is that connection is kind of like the cure for shame. It's wild. So when we're feeling in that, I'm looking out for a bear, I'm getting a little distracted, I admit it. So we're feeling that in that shame place, then it is then that we really need to seek higher ground. It is then that we need to seek higher ground and call somebody we trust. And the thing is, shame doesn't do well when it's spoken about. It shrinks when we get rid of it and with somebody safe. We don't want to put that on them. We just want to be listened to, heard, validated, seen, and all of that. And so it's very important to seek higher ground, because shame does not stand a chance against genuine connection, compassion, and empathy. And another thing with the connection thing, also related to shame, is very related to shame, is people often just, I think, are actually looking to be offended, which is weird, because that just pushes, people away, and that can get in the way of our connection too. Kind of just looking to be right and looking to be on top and all that stuff, and that doesn't help with our connection either. So we've got the occasional, need to be offended, which I know is weird, but it's a thing. And the need to be right, which is definitely a thing. Those are all ego. And also what gets in the way of connection, even though it can look like we're connected, it's like a facade. We're like nodding and smiling. Is when we're in a conversation with someone and we're thinking about what we're going to say next instead of actually listening. So if we can, try to be conscious of that, right? To be really aware of of that. Maybe even try this. This is what I do. I actually gave an article out to my students on this years ago, and the article was called "Tell Me More," and that's just it. So instead of, you know, when we get into that mode or trap or stuck, actually, you're like, oh, I can't wait to. It doesn't mean that you're even trying to be. It doesn't have to be negative, is what I'm saying, because we can just be excited. Like maybe somebody's talking about something new and exciting, and you just happen to read a more updated article like this morning, and you're not, you know, mad or upset or anything. It's like, ooh, wait, I want to tell you, I just read this morning. You know, it's from some really credible source. But instead of doing that, you know, to say, you know, okay, wait, tell me more. Tell me more, and really hear them, because a lot of people think, because I see it a lot, you know, nodding and smiling, and like it's like pretending we're listening, or maybe even believe we're listening, but we're not really listening if we've got it right here behind the forehead and our frontal cortex, what we're about to say. Then we're not really listening. And the other thing is many people really have very strong opinions, and there's nothing wrong with that, I guess, as long as, you know, that person realizes that their opinion is not the truth for all people, because that's easy to get locked into, thinking that our opinion is the right one, and that prevents connection to also, these are all prevention blockers. Need to be right, looking to be offended, thinking our opinion is the truth for all people, and then of course the shame thing we talked about. So all of that, no good. So how we can connect is just to decide to choose it. We can connect with a stranger on the street and just sit down and talk to them. We can connect, preferably in person. Everybody's into texting and emailing these days, but even that on an authentic level is okay. But this is the whole point of why we're here. You know, and Maya Angelou would say, paraphrase, she just came into my head at this minute, that brook is absolutely beautiful. It's keeping out for bears. That's why I keep an eye out for bears. She would say, if we're not connecting, we're not learning how to love ourselves and other people, then we're wasting our inertia. I love how she put that, because inertia is obviously motion, movement, the energy of us. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience. We are walking energy, wearing red rain jackets and Pikachu hats or some other outfit, but we are energy, loving spiritual energy walking around. And she's like, you're wasting all that if you're not getting it, that it's all about the connection with each other. That's the whole point, or we are wasting the whole point of why we are here. Okay? So connection is why we're here. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful Notch. Have a mindful day.